Hello, Exia here. Today I'm gonna be doing a video on how I have my stuff set up for webcam games for Shadowverse Evolve, since I have gotten compliments from people on the Discord saying, "Hey, your setup is pretty good." Um, then I figured I'd make a video on it so you guys can also set up your game your webcam games similarly to how I have it set up. And I figured it'd make for a good educational video as well for those who are looking to get into it, but don't really know where to start. So I'm gonna be going over both hardware and software stuff that you'll need for the setup. I'm gonna start off with the hardware, which it's pretty basic for what you'll need. You need a computer to obviously run everything, um, and you're also gonna need a webcam. I choose to go with a DepthTech 4K webcam from Amazon. I'll be putting a link in the description for where to get all of the stuff that I use. This is just for reference. You don't have to use the same equipment that I do. This is just what I choose because it's what I like. Um, and then you're also gonna need a mic. I'm using an Audio Technica AT2020. It's an XLR mic, so I do have a Focusrite XLR thing to set that up. Obviously, you don't need to go with the same thing. You can just go with a regular USB mic. It'll work just fine. This is just what I use. And then now for me, because I have this is just what I like. I do have a multiple monitor setup just to make everything kind of easier. So I have the main screen over here at front, and on the right is where I have my secondary and tertiary screens. This is also where I have OBS, which is one of the things that will be needed on the software end. I'll get more into that once I actually get to that part of the video. And also, almost forgot to mention, I do have this bracket over here for the webcam itself. That's just like what's it's a boom arm for mics, webcams, stuff like that. I got it from Amazon for relatively cheap as well. And I do have an additional webcam. That's what I was using before I got this webcam over here. Um, I just never had the heart to stop making use of it, so I just kept it there. But I can also use it as like a face cam if I want to. But as of right now, that's not really necessary, so I've kind of just left it sitting for now. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the software side of things. I will be switching over to my main to my into my computer in just a moment. Okay, now that we're going over to the software side of the setup, now as for what we're gonna need, we are going to need OBS over here because it has a virtual camera feature on here, which will display our setup as we set it up over here on OBS over to Discord when we are playing a game on there. When you hop into the voice chat and show your camera while you're playing. The other part of the setup, we will need an emulator for your phone, so we can run the SVE Sidekick app, which is the Shadowverse Evolve equivalent of the Neuron app for Yu-Gi-Oh for the Yu-Gi-Oh players. I choose to use LD Player 9 because one of the members on Discord, Tasty, shout out to Tasty, recommended it to me because the whole setup was inspired off of his setup. So the way whenever we played, he has his camera and he has like an overlay for Shadowverse Evolve on his screen as well, so you can see life total, play points, stuff like that. But you can also use other options like BlueStacks. I'm sure there's other equivalent out there. I just decided to use LD Player 9 because at the time that's what was recommended to me. So we're gonna go back to the main to my secondary screen where I have OBS set up. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to set up OBS for you guys setting up for the first time. So this is gonna be blank over here for you guys because you know if you have OBS downloaded for the first time, you're not gonna have anything on here, right? So you're gonna need a scene, which is like your your overall scene for for the setup. So to make a new scene, you're gonna click the plus icon to add scene, and you're gonna name it whatever you want. And I'm gonna hit cancel because I already have a scene set up for for this video, which is SVE, and this is where I actually have my setup. I just decided to delete them so I can show you guys how to set up for the first time. Display capture 2 is only here just so you guys can see my screen as I do it. Otherwise, this would not be here. So we're gonna be making two different layers. First, well, sources. Sorry. We're gonna need a source for LD Player 9, and we're gonna need a source for the webcam. So for the source for LD Player 9, we're gonna go ahead and click Add Source, and we're gonna select Game Source, and we're just gonna click OK to create a new game capture source, and it's gonna ask us to select a mode over here. We are going to select capture specific window and select LD player. So now you have an overlay of just LD player instead of the whole screen where LD player is at. Everything else on this on here can stay default. I'm not gonna go over it. And then just click OK. And then I'm gonna go ahead and launch the SVE Sidekick app now, just so you guys can see it. I also did take an additional step over here to adjust the volume down to mute because I don't want the audio from it being broadcasted as well as I click the buttons. So, and because we are doing the setup for Shadowverse, so obviously we're gonna have, for Shadowverse as well, and this is why it's muted. So I'm clicking this. You guys should not be able to hear it when I'm clicking it because I definitely can't. So that's intended because I don't want the audio for it to be broadcasted. And then I'm gonna scale it just a little bit over here on my screen because I am gonna shift it over here to my screen over on. I'm gonna shift it over to my secondary screen over here so you guys can see. So obviously, it's also getting resized in OBS as as we adjust it, right? This is not going to be the final size of it for LD Player 9. I'm going to adjust that as needed because I'm going to go ahead and also add it's going to be a video capture device source. We're going to create new. Let me go ahead and block it real quick. So just so you guys can't see my face, and I'm going to go boom. So for device, you guys are going to select whatever webcam source you are using for the setup. Mine is going to be Depstech webcam. That's just how it's going to be set up. Everything else I'm going to leave default for now because I'm going to go ahead and resize it just so you guys can see my screen as I also configure the video settings. Now for the order of the sources, it has to be this specific order. It has to be let me go adjust this real quick. So game capture is gonna be the top layer because you want the overlay to be on top of the webcam source, and then of course the video capture device as the bottom layer because that's the base of your setup. And then I just have display capture 2 over here just so you guys can see my screen while I do the setup. As you guys can see, it's upside down. obviously I'm gonna fix that. So to do that, let me go ahead and click that layer. I'm gonna move my mouse cursor to this circle over here until I see the hand and out, and then I'm gonna click and hold, rotate it until it's right side up, because it was initially upside down. So next we are going to take the source for it, and we're gonna right click properties. The lighting on mine has already been set up over here, but if you guys want to adjust, here, let me move this to the side real quick and then show you guys over here. You're gonna go ahead and click configure video, and you guys will see over here, you know, the number values for your setting. Just play around with this setting based on your camera and your lighting in your room. This is what I have set up because of my how I have my room set up with my lighting. So that there's that, and also you have camera control over here. Again, same thing. Adjust as necessary. You know, play around with your settings until you get it to how you want it. All right, and then we're gonna scroll down. Resolution / FPS type. You can leave it device default. We're not gonna make this as complicated. We just want it to, you know, you just want to broadcast your screen, you know, as is, and then, you know, just play. So I'm, you know, this is just to make it as easy as possible. The main thing you really just have to do is make sure you select the correct source, and then click OK, and then resize as needed. I'm gonna go ahead and size it. I'm gonna go size it to where it takes up the screen in OBS. This is what it's gonna look like, you know, by the once you have it sized and rotated to take up the whole screen in OBS. Because this is the dimensions that OBS has set up. So this is for the whole screen. Now, obviously, this is not going to be the final setup because I'm picky, and I'm going to go ahead and move my webcam, my keyboard over here so it's easier for me to reach. But I'm going to go line up my mat to about right there. And I'm going to go ahead and start shifting the layer to line up over here to make sure it takes up the whole screen. So the easy way is to just drag from the corner, and it's by aspect size, so you don't have to, you know, worry about that too much. But as you can see, we're gonna go over if I just let it go like that. So to make it take up the correct dimensions on here, I'm gonna press and hold shift, and click and hold and drag from the red. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me go ahead and just line it up over on OBS. So I think I might move the display capture source above. I don't know if you guys can see it though. Yeah, because if I move it up top, yeah, if I move it up top, you guys are not going to be able to see it. But let me go ahead. Okay, so but yeah, you guys get the idea, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and line it up over here on this corner, just close enough, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hold shift, drag and drop until it lines up right there, and then I'm going to keep adjusting it until I'm satisfied because I want it to be perfectly lined up on top. That looks good to me. And then side to side, same thing. Okay, I might have to adjust a little bit. and then keep, kind of keep doing it until I'm satisfied. All right, that looks good enough. So you guys can see the whole screen. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the size for LD Player 9. Same thing, Control Hold Shift right there, and then I'm gonna adjust the width, the width of the layer. Think that's about good enough, and I'm gonna move the keyboard back up. So that's what it's gonna look like on the screen on OBS, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show my deck on here just so you guys can see it. This is just my sword deck, just because that's what I've been messing with earlier. So for demonstration purposes, I have. This is how I would set up my board to get ready for webcam games on Discord. This is just an example. You guys obviously set up to your preference. This is just how I do it. And now, of course, when we're ready to go over to Discord, make sure you click. Let me go move the layer back up real quick so you guys can see it. So on OBS, I'm just temporarily moving the display capture to source over here so you guys can see it. But you guys are going to go ahead and click Start Virtual Camera. So now, once you click that on, it turns on the virtual camera within OBS, which will show this part over here. So this is now being broadcasted in OBS once you turn Start Virtual Camera on. And actually, no, let me go back to that. Make sure the settings are correct for you guys, because kind of forgot you have to do that part as well. So over here, you're gonna go ahead and click the gear icon. Output type is gonna be scene. For output selection, make sure you select the correct scene. You guys are only gonna have one, which is gonna be in this case is gonna be the SVE, and click OK. That's just to make sure you have the correct scene being broadcasted in virtual camera. Otherwise, it's gonna broadcast a different scene if you guys have multiple scenes set up in OBS. But if you guys only have one, don't worry about it. It should just broadcast this part over here. So now that you guys have that set up, we're now gonna go ahead and go over to Discord. Let me switch over to my main screen and go over to Discord. Hold on. We're gonna go over to one of the voice channels on here so you guys can see it. But before we do that, we go ahead and go to the user settings on Discord. Click voice and video. For voice settings, make sure you have input and output device selected to whatever mic source you're using, whether it's a headset, mic or whatever, or if you're like me using an XLR camera, just make sure you have it selected to the correct source, so that way whoever you're playing against on Discord can also hear you. And then over to video settings. For camera source, we're gonna select OBS Virtual Camera. We can also select that option once we go to the voice chat, but just so we don't have to keep changing it every time, we're just gonna have OBS Virtual Camera as the default on here, and then you're gonna click out of that, and then we're gonna hop onto a voice chat. We're just gonna go to Game Room 8 real quick so you guys can see, and then we're gonna click the video sources on here. So you click that arrow over here to select the source of the camera that you guys are going to be using. Obviously, since we set it up earlier to default to OBS virtual camera. You don't have to worry about that. You can just go ahead and click turn on camera. And it's now, and your screen is now being broadcasted over on Discord. Now it's gonna look upside down on Discord on your POV. This is just a weird thing Discord does for some reason. Don't worry about it. This is not what your opponent sees. Let me go switch over back to SVE. This is what your opponent will see. And it's gonna look exactly like this. It's just Discord just does this weird thing where it flips your camera source for some weird reason. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, don't worry about it. Your feed is not reversed. It's just a weird thing Discord does. Then we're gonna go back to Discord over here. Now, of course, you have your opponent. Obviously, you're gonna go make their screen bigger like that so you guys can see it better. But let's go ahead and back to grid view. We're gonna go back to display capture source. If you guys do not turn virtual camera on, this is what it's gonna look like on Discord. That's what it's gonna look like if you don't start virtual camera on. So you make sure you actually start virtual camera to project your screen. Let me go bounce back over here to sources, and just to show you guys that it is actually on, and you guys can see that it is being broadcasted on Discord when I go back. Okay, now at that point you're pretty much set up and ready to go. Let me go ahead and exit out of the voice chat real quick, so that way somebody doesn't hop on and they like just hear me talking to myself essentially. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the setup for webcam games on Discord. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys also find the video entertaining. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.